You've eaten it hundreds of times. You think you know it. But what if I told you the hamburger, America's most iconic food, was never actually invented in America? And what if I told you its true origin traces back to the warriors of Genghis Khan, a 13th century Mongolian warlord who never even tasted bread? 50 billion burgers are eaten every single year in the United States alone. That's roughly 3 burgers per person every single week. The burger industry is worth over $100 billion annually. So how did a piece of minced meat become the most eaten food on Earth? Stick with me, because this story goes back 800 years, and it gets wilder the deeper we go. But first, we need to go back further than you think. The year is 1200 AD. Genghis Khan is conquering the known world. His army is moving fast, too fast to stop and cook. So they did something ingenious. They took raw lamb and beef scraps, shaped them into flat patties, and placed them under their saddles. Yes, they tenderized their meat by sitting on it while riding into battle. They'd eat it raw, no fire needed, no stopping required. The Mongols swept into Russia and left behind their food habits. The Russians loved the raw minced meat and called it Steak Tartare. Tartare means Mongol in Russian.
German sailors visiting Russian ports discovered this dish. They brought it back to Hamburg, Germany. And in Hamburg, they did something different. They cooked it. They called it the Hamburg steak, and they had no idea what they had just set in motion. But how does a German beef dish become America's national food? That answer involves a revolution, a World's Fair, and a man running late for lunch. It's 1848. Political revolution is tearing through Europe. Over 1 million Germans are fleeing, and they're taking their food with them. When they arrived in New York, something fascinating happened. Restaurants near the harbor started offering what they called beefsteak cooked in the Hamburg style to attract homesick German sailors. Hamburg beef was famous. Hamburg was known across Europe for exporting the highest quality beef in the world, so the name stuck. But it was still just a plate of meat. It wasn't a burger yet. The question that historians still fight over to this day is, who was the first person to put it between 2 pieces of bread? And the answer? Depends on who you believe.
There are 5 different people who all claim to have invented the hamburger sandwich, and each story is more interesting than the last. Claim number 1, Wisconsin, 1885. Hamburger Charlie Negreen was selling meatballs at a county fair. Nobody was buying them, too messy to eat while walking. So he flattened them, slapped them between bread, and started selling. Wisconsin was so proud, they literally built the Hamburger Hall of Fame there. Claim number 2, Hamburg, New York, 1885. Brothers Charles and Frank Mencius ran out of pork sausage at a fair. They replaced it with ground beef mixed with coffee and brown sugar. They named it the Hamburger, after the town on the banner behind them. Not the German city, the New York town. Claim number 3, New Haven, Connecticut, 1900. A man rushes into Louis Lunch Restaurant in a hurry. He tells owner Louis Lassen, a Danish immigrant, he needs food to go. Lassen grabs ground beef trimmings, cooks them up, slaps them between 2 slices of toast. The man runs off, and a legend is born. Louis Lunch is still open today, still serving the same burger, still on toast, still no ketchup allowed. They will literally ask you to leave if you ask for ketchup. Claim number 4, Athens, Texas, 1880s. Fletcher Davis ran a small cafe serving a ground beef sandwich. He took it to the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. That's when the entire country tasted it for the first time. Texas still officially calls Athens the original home of the hamburger. Claim number 5, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1891. Oscar Bilby claims he was the first to serve a beef patty on an actual bun, not just bread or toast. His family still insists he's the real inventor. 5 states, 5 families, 1 burger. Nobody agrees. And honestly, that mystery is exactly what makes this story incredible.
But in 1906, something happened that almost killed the hamburger forever. The year is 1906. Writer Upton Sinclair publishes a book called The Jungle. It exposed the horrifying truth of America's meatpacking industry. Rotting meat, rat droppings, human fingers ground into sausages. The public was disgusted. Ground beef was seen as the most dangerous, most adulterated food on the market. Hamburger sales collapsed overnight. The burger was dying, and it needed a hero. In 1921, two men in Wichita, Kansas changed everything. Walter Anderson and Billy Ingram opened a tiny restaurant called White Castle. Everything was white. The walls, the uniforms, the name. The message was simple. This place is clean. This meat is safe. They sold burgers for 5 cents each. Within a decade, they had locations across America. White Castle didn't just save the hamburger, they invented fast food. And then came a man with a milkshake machine, and he built the most powerful food empire the world had ever seen. The 1950s. America is booming. Cars are everywhere. People want food they can eat fast in their cars at any time. Ray Kroc was a 52-year-old milkshake machine salesman. He noticed two brothers in California, Dick and Mac McDonald, were ordering 8 of his machines at once. He drove out to see why. What he found was a burger restaurant running like a machine. Simple menu, fast service, consistent quality. Kroc bought them out, built a franchise empire, and by the 1960s, McDonald's was unstoppable. But here's the fact that blows people's minds. 1 in every 8 working Americans has been employed by McDonald's. Jeff Bezos worked there, Jay Leno worked there, Sharon Stone worked there. And after World War II, American soldiers spread the burger globally. Wherever the US military went, the burger followed. Today, it's served in over 150 countries. The hamburger didn't just feed America. It became a symbol of America itself. Today, Americans eat 50 billion burgers a year. That's 3 burgers per person per week, every single week. The industry is worth over $100 billion annually, more than the GDP of many countries. And the burger keeps evolving.
Plant-based patties, Wagyu beef, truffle burgers. A $10,000 burger was served in Dubai, topped with gold leaf. From a Mongolian warrior saddle in 1200 AD to a gold-plated bun in a Dubai hotel. That is one extraordinary journey. The next time you pick up a burger, remember, you're not just eating lunch. You're eating 800 years of history. A Mongolian warrior's survival hack, a German immigrant's comfort food, an American dreamer's fast food empire. All of it compressed into 2 buns and a patty. If this story of hamburger surprised you, smash that like button, because next time we're uncovering the dark and delicious history of another dish you eat every single week. You think you know it, but you really don't.